Let's get started with our first news. Ilia almost crossed paths with Arman. Earlier today, at the Fighter Hotel, Ilia was in the same area as Arman, and it was a near encounter that had everyone talking. Ilia will be in attendance at UFC Car this weekend, as his brother Alexandre is set to face Shavkat Alikan in what promises to be an exciting matchup. The energy around the hotel was electric, with fighters, staff, and media buzzing about the upcoming fights and the potential for interactions between some of the biggest names in the UFC. Fans were on high alert, hoping to catch a glimpse of the stars as they moved through the lobby and hallways. Ilia's presence alone sparked conversations, with many speculating on the possible interactions and tension that could arise given past rivalries. While nothing dramatic happened, the mere possibility of Ilia and Arman crossing paths created an atmosphere of suspense. It's moments like these that remind everyone why UFC events are more than just fights. They're full of stories, drama, and unexpected encounters behind the scenes. Ilia Topuria's involvement, even as an observer this weekend, adds another layer to the excitement. His focus remains on supporting his brother, Alexandre, but fans know that whenever Ilia is around, eyes are drawn to him. Meanwhile, Arman continues his preparation for his upcoming bouts, staying sharp and aware of the UFC environment around him. The near encounter at the Fighter Hotel serves as a reminder of how interconnected the UFC world is, with top fighters often moving in the same spaces, creating tension, anticipation, and headlines long before the fights even start. The UFC community thrives on these moments, the near misses, the brief interactions, and the electric energy that surrounds starfighters. Ilia and Arman, both highly skilled and rising stars, brought a subtle but significant buzz to the venue today. Fans, media, and fellow fighters alike were all witnesses to this almost encounter, and it's the kind of behind-the-scenes story that keeps the excitement alive all the way until fight night. And that wraps up our coverage of Ilia's near encounter with Arman at the Fighter Hotel. The weekend is shaping up to be full of action, drama, and unforgettable moments. The anticipation is only building as fight night approaches. Move on to another news. Belal Muhammad thinks Ian Garry's wife is behind all the trash talk. Bill Muhammad says he believes Ian Garry's wife is the one writing his lines, feeding him the words he throws out in interviews and on social media. According to Bill, Garry has his next 5 fights meticulously planned out, every step mapped, every comment prepped. And while that might seem impressive, Bill isn't buying it. He's pointing out that there's a difference between reading a script and actually executing it inside the octagon. No, I think he's good at reading a script, right? His writers, his wife, they're all putting lines together for him to say, Bill explained. He's polished at delivering it. He's smooth, articulate, and knows exactly how to hype himself up. But here's the thing. Reading a script is one thing. Putting it into action is a whole different story. Bill Muhammad isn't just talking about words. He's talking about results. Anyone can write down plans, schemes, or predictions about the future. Anyone can script their persona, hype themselves up, and present confidence to the world. But when the bell rings and the lights shine, all that scripting means nothing unless you can back it up with action. Bill made it clear that while Ian Garry might have his narrative written for him, the present moment belongs to the fighters in the cage, and it's in that moment where real stories are made. Anybody can have their thoughts, their plans, their future written down, Bill continued. But we're still in the present, and Saturday night, I'm going to have to change the story. I'm going to step in and show that all the scripting, all the lines, all the pre-planned hype, it doesn't matter unless you can put it into action. That's where the difference is. That's where the truth is. Bill's confidence isn't just talk, it's a warning. He's sending a clear message that the octagon isn't for rehearsed lines or pre-written hype. It's for fighters who can execute under pressure, adapt in real time, and dominate when it counts. Ian Garry's wife might be doing her best behind the scenes, crafting every word, shaping every quote, but Bill Muhammad isn't worried about scripts. He's focused on reality, the present moment, and the performance that will define the night. This isn't just a clash of fighters. It's a clash of preparation versus execution, words versus action, hype versus reality. Saturday night is where the truth will be revealed, and Bill Muhammad is ready to make a statement that no amount of scripted talk can overshadow. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev is calling for Craig Jones to be fired. The controversy started after UFC 322, where Craig Jones was seen in JDM's corner. Fans immediately noticed the connection, but what made things even more intense is that Craig also assisted Alexander Volkanovski with grappling during both of his training camps for Islam Makhachev. That's right, Craig has been heavily involved in training some of the biggest names in MMA, and now Islam is publicly saying that his services should be terminated. On X, Islam posted a poll making his stance very clear. He wrote, "Jesse'd, Craig Jones needs to be fired. We have to make Australia great again." The poll had two options: fire and send 2-3 years Dagestan. It was a bold statement, blending humor with a very real jab at someone who has been directly involved in training other fighters. The UFC world quickly reacted, and the post went viral almost immediately, sparking debates about loyalty, training camps, and who should be trusted in the corner. Craig Jones didn't stay silent. He responded on Instagram, sharing his own take on Islam's post. In the caption, he wrote, 2-3 years in Tijana sounds a lot more appealing. His response showed that he's taking the criticism in stride, adding a playful tone to a situation that could have easily escalated into a heated public feud. Fans were quick to notice the back and forth, with social media exploding with comments, memes, and reactions from fighters and analysts alike. This isn't just a personal dispute. It highlights the complex dynamics in MMA training and fight preparation. Fighters like Islam Makhachev rely heavily on trust and loyalty within their camps. When a coach or grappling partner works with another fighter, especially a potential competitor, it can raise questions about dedication and focus. Islam's post reflects the tension that exists when loyalty is tested, while Craig's response shows that in the modern fight game, humor and social media are just as important as grappling skills. The UFC community is watching closely, analyzing every move, comment, and reaction. Islam Makhachev's bold statement sends a message to his team and fans: loyalty in the corner is not negotiable. Meanwhile, Craig Jones is handling the situation with calm and wit, showing that even when under fire, composure is key. The debate will continue, and the drama around UFC 322, JDM's camp, and the training alliances in MMA is far from over. This story is a perfect example of how social media, personal rivalries, and professional respect collide in the fight world, keeping fans engaged and talking long after the fights are done. Move on to another news. Khamzat Chimaev is not interested in fighting Islam Makhachev. After Islam's dominant win this past Saturday against JDM, fans immediately started speculating about the possibility of a massive showdown. There's been talk of Islam moving up to middleweight in pursuit of triple champ status, aiming to dominate across multiple divisions. However, the middleweight king himself, Khamzat, seems to have other plans. Khamzat took to Instagram to send a clear message. He wrote, "The wolf and the eagle are not always close, but when you need to protect the mountains, they will always protect them together." For those new to the symbolism, the eagle refers to Khabib Nurmagomedov and his team, while the wolf is Khamzat himself. This statement is more than just words. It's a declaration of loyalty, strategy, and focus. Khamzat is making it clear that his priority isn't chasing a fight with Islam at this time, but rather staying aligned with his team and respecting the path laid out by Khabib. What Khamzat is emphasizing is the importance of dominance within your own territory. He wants to do what Kamaru Usman and Francis Ngannou achieved in their respective weight classes: complete control, absolute mastery, and leaving a mark that cannot be disputed. Khamzat's focus remains on solidifying his reign in the middleweight division, building a legacy step by step, rather than rushing into a high-profile clash with Islam that may not fit his current strategy. This approach shows Khamzat's strategic mindset. While fans and media often push for the biggest matchups, Khamzat is showing patience and discipline. He understands the significance of timing, preparation, and loyalty to his team. The wolf and the eagle together represent more than a metaphor. They symbolize a partnership, a foundation of trust and guidance that has shaped Khamzat's career and approach to the fight game. By prioritizing his team and his path to dominance, Khamzat Chimaev reinforces the idea that true champions build their legacies carefully. He's not distracted by hype or external pressure. The focus is on mastery, respect, and executing a long-term vision for his career. Fans will have to wait and watch as Khamzat continues to rise, protecting the mountains, staying true to his principles, and solidifying his position as one of the most disciplined and formidable fighters in the sport today. This message also serves as a reminder that patience and strategy often outweigh impulsive matchups in the quest for true greatness. Move on to another news. Jorge Masvidal says Shavkat Rakhmonov is the only welterweight who can beat Islam Makhachev. Jorge shared his thoughts on the current state of the welterweight division, and his analysis immediately grabbed attention. He believes that while several fighters are talented and deserving of title shots, there's only one true boogeyman in that weight class who could realistically challenge Islam. Feel like either one of them right now could fight for the title, Jorge said. If it's Carlos, I'm happy. If it's Morales, I'm happy. But we also got to add the monster at that weight class. The boogeyman, Shav. Shav is amazing. And that's the only guy actually that could beat you, Islam. That's the only guy that could beat you, Islam. Jorge went on to break down why Shavkat stands out. He's naturally bigger, a great wrestler, has an endless tank of gas, and he's not bad on the feet. He does need some work giving shots and taking shots, but he's really not bad standing up. That's why he's dangerous. And now that I think about it, I forgot completely about Shav for a moment. He's been injured for so long, but he's another one of my favorite welterweights. He could be another guy that could beat him, Islam, and Shav is really good. He also speculated about potential matchups for Shav once he's fully healthy. So maybe we get Shav versus JDM, or Shav versus one of these guys, Carlos or Michael, whoever doesn't fight for the title, because we need to see Shav fighting for that. He deserves that shot, and the fans need to witness his skills in action. He's a completely different type of challenge, and he brings the kind of skill set that can trouble even someone like Islam Makhachev, who's been dominant in the lightweight division. Jorge's perspective highlights the depth and intrigue in the welterweight division. While multiple fighters are exciting and capable of challenging for the belt, Shav represents a rare combination of size, skill, and athleticism that could genuinely test Islam. Jorge's comments also underline the importance of timing and opportunity in the sport. Injuries have kept Shav off the radar for too long, but when he returns, he could shake up the entire division. Fans and analysts alike are now buzzing about this potential matchup. Shav versus JDM, or Shav versus Carlos or Michael, would be monumental fights that could redefine the landscape. Jorge Masvidal's insight reminds everyone that in MMA, it's not just about talent, it's about matchups, timing, and the right fighter rising at the right moment. Shav embodies that challenge, and his return could create one of the most compelling stories in the welterweight division. Move on to another news. Demetrious Johnson says MMA fans don't truly appreciate fighters who dominate. The former champion shared his perspective on a trend he's noticed in the sport, where completely one-sided performances often get criticized instead of celebrated. He explained how, in the current MMA climate, when a fighter completely outclasses their opponent, the reaction from some fans can feel surprisingly negative. Like, how in MMA do we get to a point where, I feel like a lot of fans don't appreciate that, Demetrious said. It's mixed martial arts, right? Like, I'm even here in Tokyo at the arena with Michael. Michael's like, man, I heard the fight was just horrible. And I was like, I don't want to say it was horrible. It wasn't horrible. One guy just got dominated. He emphasized that the art of dominance is something that should be respected, even if it doesn't always make for a flashy fight. We're in this age of mixed martial arts where a guy absolutely dominates somebody, Demetrious continued. Everybody's like, oh, the fight was horrible, sucked. I understand. Like you said, we want more excitement, we want back and forth action, but you've got to take it for what it is. That guy was way better than the other guy. There's nothing the opponent could have done to change the outcome. That's skill, strategy, and execution at its finest. Demetrious also pointed out that dominance is a form of mastery in MMA. When one fighter completely controls the pace, position, and flow of a fight, it reflects years of preparation, technical precision, and mental focus. Fans sometimes overlook this aspect, focusing instead on highlight reel moments or dramatic swings. Yet, the ability to impose yourself on an opponent in every aspect of a fight is arguably one of the hardest skills to master. Like, hey, that guy just way better than another guy, Demetrious said. There's nothing he could have done. You've got to recognize dominance for what it is. That's what champions do. That's what separates the greats from everyone else. And I feel like sometimes MMA fans forget that. They don't appreciate that level of control, that level of skill, and that level of intelligence in the cage. Demetrious Johnson's comments are a reminder that dominance in MMA should be celebrated, not criticized. The sport is evolving. Fans crave excitement, but the true art of MMA lies in mastery, strategy, and the ability to control a fight from start to finish. In a world chasing finishes and highlight reels, recognizing and respecting complete dominance is essential for understanding what makes a fighter truly great. Move on to another news. Dan Hooker is not concerned about Arman pulling out of their fight this weekend. The veteran fighter shared his thoughts in an interview with Submission Radio, showing his signature confidence and calm demeanor. According to Dan, he's developed a unique perspective on fight cancellations, and he approaches them with a mix of humor and resilience that sets him apart from many fighters in the sport. That's the beauty of it, though, Dan said. For some reason, everybody thinks I've never actually been pulled out of a fight in my life. It must be my face because I smile all the time and joke about everything. I must have a hella punchable face because no one ever pulls out on me. I know some fighters that I've trained with, and they've been pulled out on in like the double digits. Dan's point highlights the mental toughness required to stay calm and focused in MMA. While other fighters might panic, get frustrated, or allow a cancellation to derail their preparation, Dan uses his mindset as an advantage. He's learned to focus on what he can control: his training, his health, and his readiness to step into the octagon. That mindset allows him to maintain confidence even when uncertainty arises. He explained that cancellations are part of the sport, and handling them with composure is what separates seasoned fighters from the rest. It's funny, because you see fighters get stressed or upset when a fight falls through, but I just take it in stride, Dan said. It's part of the game. You've got to be ready for anything, and I've been lucky that I've never had it happen to me. Maybe it's the way I carry myself, maybe it's just luck, but it works. Dan's attitude also reflects his respect for the sport and his opponents. He's prepared to fight anyone, anytime, and he understands that the dynamics of MMA can change at a moment's notice. Being mentally prepared for these situations, he explained, is just as important as physical readiness. It's a philosophy that has kept him consistent, resilient, and always ready to perform at the highest level. With Arman still scheduled to compete this weekend, Dan Hooker remains focused, composed, and confident. His relaxed but determined approach serves as a reminder that mental strength is crucial in MMA. Cancellations, last-minute changes, and uncertainties don't shake him, because he knows that being prepared, adaptable, and mentally tough is what truly defines a champion in this sport. Dan is ready for whatever comes next, and nothing, including potential opponent changes, will derail his mission in the octagon.